Hello, Magdalena. Hello, Hans. Do you need something? What are you doing? Fine enough. Weather's getting colder. And the family? Healthy and hardworking. Simon's taking care of the winter provisions. He's a good boy, proud of him. And you know how beautiful and kind-hearted Jutta is. Just like her mother. I don't know how I got so lucky. She's a miracle. She will marry a good man soon, I'm sure. Do you have someone in mind? That young Eds is a good man, I've noticed. He's solid enough. Takes after his father. All the same, where Jutta has children one day, they will be beautiful and kind like their mother. They're worse things to be, I guess. I did my best to raise her right, but her best qualities are all Helwig. Give yourself a little credit, Hans. Kind of hit the same, Magdalena. I should get back to it until later. Till then. Here we have him, Voislav. God bless you, Magdalena. Hello, Voislav. I have an odd question for you. Oh? When I was exploring the abbey for the mural background, I stumbled upon some stray cats. Were there a lot of cats during your time? Ah, yes, as a matter of fact, there were. There were always cats around the abbey, but one summer they started begging for food. Persistent little creatures. Brother Lucas swears he never fed them, but I have my doubts. Well, they seem to have made the abbey their home now. Ah, good for them. At least someone is making use of that old structure. Thank you for telling me, Magdalene. Be well, Voislav. God bless you and your father, Magdalene. What we were gonna talk about? Hello, Magdalene. Hello, Magdalene. How's the weather? We've been prepping for the feast in here all day. Fresh and brisk, perfect for our walk. Colder than usual. I'm glad to be indoors now. Been colder than I remember it being for decades. More snowfall, that's certain. At least we're in here where we can keep our fingers warm. You'd be better keeping your fingers out of my dough, Master Bauer. I didn't do anything. You snuck your little fingers into my cookie dough at least 3 times today. Do it again and I'll wrap your knuckles with the back of my spoon. Don't anger Mistress Matilda, Simon. Yes, sir. Sorry, Mistress Matilda. We have enough dough to make cookies for the entire town. You can't be eating it all. Anyway, what did you come in for, Magdalene? I was hoping you could tell me what you remember of the revolt. I was too young to remember much of it. No one ever seemed to talk about it, and Mrs. Matilda and Master Voislav, you two are the only ones left who used to live in the abbey. The only ones who stayed anyway. Matilda and I had been friendly enough with the people in town. We put it behind us in time. You can imagine the other brothers had little reason to remain. Old Adok made it out. I think Father Gernot paid for him to go back to an abbey in Cornwall. Frank joined the Dominicans and became an inquisitor. Oh. I've seen him around these parts over the years. Time has found him friendly enough considering his vocation. I'm not sure what happened to the others, all gone in any case. But the whole thing is sensitive. It's a sensitive subject, Magdalene. Why are you asking? I want to portray the event truthfully in the mural, so I'm trying to hear everyone's accounts of the events. For the sake of seeing it portrayed right, I'll tell you what I remember. Wait, Magdalene, here, come cut out the cookies with me first. That way we don't fall behind while we chat. We'll be grateful for the help. Alright, Magdalene, cut out cookies from the dough and set them aside so Simon can put them on a tray. You need a good number in a variety of shapes, so don't hesitate to change which color you use. You have to have enough for the whole town after all. What? That? That didn't work. Blank. So why? Yeah, I did that with the bird too, but for some reason it didn't do it. Did press. Maybe I was too far out. I don't know. That was weird. Let's go with the heart, I guess. What? Why doesn't that work? Seriously? Do the pardon. Yeah, I don't get it. Why isn't this one going? It was too close to the edge. Yeah, for some reason they counted it to be too close to the edge, but a bit weird. Yeah, that one is not gonna work. Okay. You done? Mm-hmm. This looks wonderful. Thank you. You can make more if you want, but it looks like we have enough. I think that's good for now. Yeah. Thanks for helping, Magdalene. I'm not that keen on cutting cookies. We better keep going if we're going to have everything ready by the procession tonight. So, what can we tell you, Mags? I heard lunch next came into town before the revolt and warned everyone to leave the abbey alone. Good things really have been talked out, or was it too late for them? There were some people who wanted to talk. Master Mahler worked hard to keep the peace, but after Otto was killed... Oh, Andreas, a shame how he died. We at the monastery were fond of him. Funny, Agnes hates him for what she called meddling. No doubt she blames Master Mahler for Lucky's execution. Shame that she held on to such anger and resentment for so long. Die with that anger at this rate. Yes, Andreas did a lot of good for the Tassing and Kirchhoff too. Even if the old abbot failed to admit that. I still grieve that he died in the abbey fire. I know your father does too, Magdalena. But wasn't the revolt in general justified? Yes, I think so. We couldn't even collect in the forest without a fee. Dad kept saying we couldn't live with higher and higher taxes. The night Otto died, the abbot was trying to excommunicate everyone for celebrating St. John's Eve. A lot of people thought the abbot killed him in revenge. Turns out it was the Jobs fellow who was impersonating Martin. Had no idea until Andreas told us that night. Still, after Otto and Ulrich, that was too much. We burned the mill with both bastards inside. My father said that that would be the end of things. Dad said he could pay the abbey with crops, but the abbey forbid it, and we had to pay the miller's fee. Leonhard kept asking for more too, so he could use the stupid windmill. Why not just pay with grain? The abbot promised to help if Andreas found the person who killed Otto. All we wanted was to talk. You mean no one was supposed to burn the abbey down? Why would anyone want that? We sought justice, not murder. It was too much for Peter. Leonhard was one thing. He had just killed Ulrich, but to burn the abbey? But when the Landsknechts saw the fire, they thought they had another revolt on their hands, like so many others in the area. Even we in the abbey couldn't stop them. We all fled. Brother Florian saved as many as he could, but... Peter was wrong to burn the abbey, but what the soldiers did, that was awful. Dad died protecting me, stabbed in the chest. I don't even remember what he was wearing, but I remember how dark the blood was when we found him. Almost black and sticky, like the spectre. Dad socked one of the soldiers in the face, but another was right there, and Oh my God, can we stop talking about this? Of course, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset anyone. Thanks, Magdalene. It's hard to discuss sometimes, you know. Good luck. We'll see you at the procession later. Until then. Okay, now we talk to everybody then. Time to go to the commons for the Perchten Lauf. Okay. Party time! Russ, it's too damn cold. You shut your mouth, boy. We've done this festival every year. You want to die standing here for 5 minutes? Oh God. Oh good. You made it, Magda. I was getting worried you would miss the procession. Been so busy trying to finish the mural, I lost track of time. Well, be sure to take some time to relax tonight. It is feast day after all. Shh, it's starting. Oh, Artemis looks so lovely. I would love to be the bright saint one year, leading off all the demons into the woods. That's the only type of boys that will follow you, Artemis. Oh, stop that. Sorry, Mom. Christina, see the Perchten? So scary. I don't like it. Shh, Andreas, you're alright. They are only costumes. Big masks that our neighbors are wearing, remember? Oh, it's so cold. Magdalena, would you want to be the bright saint or one of the Perchten? Oh, a Persian, they're so spooky. I think the mask will get stuffy, but it will be fun to take any part. You get your chance, don't worry. Passing's done the Perchen Lauf as long as I can remember. Everyone in town's been a part of the procession before. Well, except for you young ones yet. Oh, I wish Dow could be here. We'll see you next year, surely, and you can go home and describe it all to him. As beautiful as ever. As goddamn long as ever. Well, at least we're going to eat after this. Oh, hey, Mags. Like that, whatever, Mags. You made it. I was worried for a minute to skip out on the fun. Merry Christmas, Mags. Merry Christmas, Eds. Look, Baltas made a special batch of beer. And I heard you made cookies too. Alexander and Cass looks like they're going to play something too. Well, oh, I hope they play Christ Born on Christmas Day. That's my favorite. Which one is that? But we sing it every year. We sing all of them every year, Max. I can't keep them straight. I hear them sing now. Ahem. Hey! Everyone listen up. Jorg would like to speak. Yes, thank you, Veronica. On behalf of the town council, I wanted to thank everyone for coming tonight. Listen intently. This year has been tough on all of us. We had more snowfall than anyone can remember, and the early frost gave us a small harvest. Folk haven't come through the pass as often. Nico, you've been short of customers. We have all missed the trade. Alexander and Casimirs, you have been kept from your journey. Yeah, the baby, exactly. Ignacio, the snow has kept you from returning home. And I know we have all felt the lack of Klaus in town as he's been bedridden these past few months. And yet, the Lord has blessed us with each other, cheerful guests and good company. Yes! Amen! Thanks to be God. God bless. Even though this season has been rough, God knows we still have a lot to celebrate this Yuletide. Andres, you made tools we couldn't have gone without. Just practicing my trade. Dr. Stolz, you kept us all in good humors. True from my experience, Jorg, in such cruel weather. Keep listening. Magdalene, you have painted a mural for us. I only wish that my father were here to celebrate its close completion with you all. As do we all. Alexander and Casimirs, you spread good cheer in the early winter nights. Our pleasure, truly. And especially tonight, I think we should thank Baltas for making such a wonderful beer for us all to enjoy. Ursa! Hooray for Baltas! Here, here. Oh no, please. Ignacio helped tremendously. Thanks to him, really. Ah, well, grassy. Thanks to our Lord, who has so graciously provided for this feast. Go protect him. Yeah. Thanks to man's deep. Thanks. Casimir and I shall play later in the evening, so please come to us with songs if you have one in mind. Sing the shepherd and let's have a dance. Well, that's it, everyone. If I may, George, I would like to bless this great feast our Lord has provided for us. Of course, Father. Today we have come together to celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Just as our Lord has provided for us with this meal, so did Christ provide us with the bread of life. So please join with me in prayer. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts which we are about to receive. For Christ our Lord, amen. 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 Oh, please, everyone, I know Baltas made a fine beer for a Christmas celebration, but remember that temperance is a virtue. Celebrate Christ child as though his manger were here with us. Wink quizzily. Merry Christmas, everyone. Finally, let's eat. Where did he run off to now? Ah, Mr. McLaren, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, cousin. Yes, enjoying the night? Very much so, the cookies especially. I haven't had such wonderful gingerbread in ages. We were just setting up to perform. Did you have a particular song in mind you want us to play? Between the two of us, we know all the Christmas songs between here and Spain. How about From Heaven Above to Earth I Come? The one written by Martin Luther? I don't oppose, but I assure you we ought to. maybe you're right. I'll pick something else. What about Be Welcome to Us, Lord Christ? Ah, classic. We know that one well. Once Cass and I play what we have prepared, we're sure to play that one. Merry Christmas, everyone! It's Christmas, Casimir's, and I wanted to share a special song with all of you in the spirit of giving. Please enjoy. Oh.
In dulce jubilo, nun singet und seid froh, unsers Herzens Wonne liegt in Praesepio und leuchtet als die Sonne.
German, of course.
In Gremio, Alpha es et O, Alpha es et O.
Well done. Wonderful, simply wonderful. Thank you truly. Please return to your drink. We'll be playing all night. Happy Christmas. Hello, Magdalena. Happy Christmas to you. Good evening, Magdalena. Merry Christmas, you too. Ulrich Andreas, hello to Mrs. Druckerin. Hi. Hi. Oh, Andreas, don't be shy. You know Mrs. Magdalene. Sorry, Magdalene, he's still a bit quiet. That's alright, there's a lot of commotion here tonight. Yes, I think Andreas is a little overwhelmed after that touch and laugh. Person used to scare me when I was little too. Really? Oh yes, I hid behind my dad's leg for a long time. Couldn't even look at him. It's alright to be scared, Andreas. I learned that a long time ago. Still don't like them. I like them. Fussy heads! Ulrich, you can look at the mask later. How did you like Joke's speech, Magdalene? A good reminder of everything we still have. We all needed to hear it. But Paul putting him up to it at the last moment, it was well done. Well, Bernie insisted someone on the council made a speech. I didn't particularly want it to be me. But George did it justice. You can always count on him to speak from the heart, especially a few drinks in. Truthfully, I think much of the town needed some encouragement tonight. Passing hasn't had such a hard season since the revolt. Yes, I'm sorry, it's Christmas. We shouldn't speak of such sad times. Let's toast to better days then. Cheers to that. Although there's an old Latin proverb my dad used to say to me. Ignis erum prot, miseria fortis virus. Fire is the test of gold, misery is the proof of a strong man. Yes, precisely. There's no question the revolt left Tassing worse off, but seeing the town now gives me hope. You're an artist, Magdalene. I think you can see it too. I think I do. Things seem brighter for Tassing somehow. Yes, those miserable days gave us the resilience we needed to push ahead, to make things better. The next generation, like you or Yoda and the twins, you saw what it was like to fight for ourselves. Stand up to tyranny even if at the cost of losing our homes and lives. Be honest, most nights I'm grateful for the revolt. Really? Oh yes, you wouldn't remember, but life was already terrible before that. The revolt burned away the dead wood that had rotted in passing for decades. God knows my father was an evil man. His death released me from years of fear. The revolt gave me this courage to face him, become better than him. I think something of the same happened when the abbey was destroyed. Things had gone on as they always did. Well, I doubt we would be having such a Yule feast tonight. The cost was high, but it resulted in just as much joy as grief. I haven't thought about it that way. Because of the revolt, I could marry Paul and we can supply grain to peasants at a fair price. Our children will grow up without the fear that ruled over my life as I got older. No moment in life is entirely good or bad. What matters is more is how we choose to see it. Put without an objective perspective, we could lose all hold on what we perceive as good or bad. Haha, I suppose so, but that sounds a bit beyond me at the moment. One too many ales, dear? No, just above my head. You sound like Baltas when he's in the middle of a project, Magdalene. Don't forget to take some time to have fun tonight, alright? Mommy, I want another cookie. Shh, don't yell, sweetheart. Christmas, Magdalene. It seems we have cookies to fetch. Of course, Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas, Magdalene. Merry Christmas, Magdalene. Enjoying the celebration? Wonderful to see everyone together in such high spirits. Isn't it? Even Grandpa is enjoying himself. This winter's been difficult for his gout. The cold makes his joints tease. I told him he didn't have to come to the Persian laugh, but he insisted. I haven't missed one Yule procession in my life, and I'll be goddamned if some snow stops me. Cough. Oh God, we know, old man. Anyway, like George said earlier, it's nice to have a night of good company and cheer. Thank you for mentioning my father in your speech, George. We'll be glad to know he was missed. You're welcome, my Magdalena. Klaus is a good man, and we all miss him as part of the community. To be honest, I didn't expect to make a speech tonight. I just thought about what happened in town this year. That's right, Paul made you do it. What? He did? Oh, that bastard. Yeah, Bernie kept going on about how someone should say something. Paul said that I was the most charismatic of anyone on the council. He said that? Well, he said that I would make the least amount of people angry over it. Papa said it was my charisma. I thought it was fitting for the season, George. Paul did too. Told me so himself. Oh, huh. Thanks. That's good. I'm glad people like it. Tough. To be honest, I never thought there would be someone people in Towsing listen to. But you have always been part of the town council. We didn't always have a councillor. It wasn't until the night of the revolt, really, that I felt like I could do things on my own, be my own man. I loved my father, but what he did, I thought he had doomed the town. A lot of terrible things happened all at once. No one can shoulder all the blame themselves. No, but my dad chose violence. He chose to destroy the abbey. I always went along with him because he was my dad. He had to be right. That night was the first time I thought any different. I learned that night that you can fight for something right, or still choose the wrong way to do it. And I swore that I would never let that happen again. The revolt broke down everything I thought I knew about Tassing, about myself. But it made a lot of things better for Tassing, and it makes me hopeful. What do you mean? Well, our new lord is strict, but he made a deal with us. The council let us govern ourselves. As much as I was grumbling earlier today, Jorg is right. Life changed in Tassing, and even though the first few years were hard, we're better for it now. No abbot looking down on us, making stupid laws as we see fit. Our lord lives days away. As long as we pay our taxes, we are left alone. It's a better life for Artemis and Apollo than we had. Don't you talk ill of my son, boy. He gave you everything he had. God rest his soul. Puff, puff. I know, Grandpa. Choosing to live differently than your dad was brave. I think you and the rest of the council has done a great job. But that's the whole point, isn't it? Without the revolt, you wouldn't be able to give the twins a better life. Yeah, in some horrible way, I guess that's right. God grant us the courage to live with our actions. I've done the best I can to do the right by the town and Dad. For his son, you've done him proud, boy. Thanks, Grandpa. Anyway, I'm going for another pint. Anyone else? Yes, bring a pitcher. You've had enough, Grandpa. Your humors might come unbalanced. Another for me, George. Well, I'll get myself another later, thanks. Alright, we'll see you later then. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hey, Elena, you finally came over to say hello. Oh, so you decided to use my full name now, have you? You asked me to. You never listened to me before now. Yeah, he's playing nice in front of us. Hello, Magdalene. Happy Christmas Eve until. Magdalena, how good to see you. How is the mural coming along in the rat house? Almost finished with it, I hear? That's right, the last I heard about it, you were still working in the middle section, the history of the saints, right? I finished that section. The old abbey ruins were hard to climb through, but I wanted to paint it right. Oh, but the remains of the abbey are so run down. That sounds dangerous. You went into the old abbey, Magdalene, without me? Of course I did. What a capable young woman you are, Magdalene. Seems you'll have to ask Magdalene out if you want to be included in the murals process, huh? Well, not that I'm currency it, mine. Well, clear you can handle yourself since you made it back without any problems. I did warn you about the dangers, not that I told you to go digging about down there, mind. Anyway, Magdalena, what are you painting on the mural now? With the founding of the abbey and the saints' history done now, I'm working on the final section, the revolt. Spent most of the day of today asking people how to remember that night. I think I may have frustrated Agnes. That's right, you were just a few years old then. God, has it been that long? Oh dear old Agnes, the revolt made her bitter, especially after losing Lucky. I think that helping Brigitte with the craft has helped her recover. But I'm not surprised she didn't want to talk about the revolt. It took years for Tassing to recover after that night. Thank God we have come a long way since then. Otto will be proud of what the town has accomplished. I didn't think he wanted to destroy the entire abbey. I thought he just hated the abbot. I don't know what's the deal with that one. They found it to be annoying. Because sometimes you're reading and you see it's the wrong word, and sometimes you cannot, especially when they have like this weird font, it can be hard to read because sometimes it changes the word into something totally different and you're like, what the heck? So sometimes you have to actually wait for it to do the changes before you can read the whole thing too. I find it being annoying. Oh no, he recognized the abbey as an important piece of Tassin's history. Otto was frustrated with the abbot's harsh taxation. He was proud of Tassin and wanted its people to thrive. You know, Magdalene, I think he would be especially proud of you for memorizing Tassin in the mural. There is, in the beginning of the game, you can change, there's two type of fonts you can change between, or pick from. There is a font where it's more readable, what you're reading. I took the one they decided for the game. Just want to see how it is. So I can read it, but some fonts are kind of hard to read sometimes. But there is a much more readable font you can use for the whole game. You'll be thrilled to think that you'll become a part of the family. Oh, I'm honored you think so. Of course, Ed's been charmed by you for years now, and I don't blame him. You're a beautiful young woman. Mom! Well, having to speak with Claus, of course, but you and Ed are a good match. Right, I mentioned it to Dad. Anyway, I don't mean to keep you chatting away with us older folks. Have fun, and Merry Christmas. Yeah, but the font changes depending who you're talking to. And there's one font that is really difficult to read, and it's when you talk to some monks, and it was like, ugh. Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas, Mags. Yeah, and you have to consider this in the old days. They have like pre-marriage, you know, parents talking about whose kids are going to get married. So it's a lot of that too in this game. It is the old days, you know. Merry Christmas, Magdalene. Festive Yuletide tied to you, my dear lady. Merry Christmas to you all. How are you enjoying the feast? Craftsman might complain of the lack of extra events as compared to the big cities, but I love it here. What a stirring speech by that big George. His wonderful voice is just perfect for speeches. I don't think he likes giving speeches. Shame. So we're just discussing the history of Christmastide, Magdalene. It's most intriguing. What's so interesting about it? It is a most holy season, 40 days from the nativity to the purification of our Savior. As Malachi said, Jesus is the Son of Righteousness, a symbol for the dawn of a new era. Ah, the sun. The Romans also celebrated the sun god, Sol Invictus, right around this every time of the year. Emperor Aurelian even founded an imperial cult in which Sol played a prominent role in the Mithriac mysteries. What's a Mithriac mystery? It's nonsense. Jesus is not some sort of a pagan sun god. As Saint Augustine said, it's the most fitting time to celebrate the nativity of Christ. He who bent low and lifted us up chose the shortest day, yet the one yet the one whence light begins to increase. There are compelling similarities between these acts and rituals of celebration. Food for thought, see? Ridiculous. I find the practical matters of it most enlightening. Christmastide is the last feast before the cold of deep winter. Our lives are so dependent on the progress of seasons. Cattle are slaughtered to lower the cost of feeding them. We indulge in the sacrificial meat before the months of starvation. And so they keep us alive. Yes, so. In January we remember the Roman roots of Christmas, Saturnalia as it was called, the winter solstice. Many of the traditions and rituals are borrowed from the Romans. Rome may have had a first celebration, but the Arian heresy soon thereafter was a severe misstep. How so? Arianism went against the Trinitarian doctrine, arguing that Jesus the Son was distinct from God the Father. We are fortunate Emperor Constantine put the end to this grievous error. We are fortunate Colmagne was crowned on Christmas Day, else his popularity may have not recovered. Ah, you're very grim. Lighten your mind, Werner. I'd rather enjoy your Christ Kindle, the gift bringer, the most joyous idea. Generosity helps strengthen the bonds of a community. Yes, you have it right, Magdalene. Ultimately, however true the various elements of Christmas, it is good because it unites the community. That is why we are here, to feast and be merry. And partake in most splendid bed that has been brewed. Salutations to you, my friend Balthas. Indeed, it's truly excellent. Well done, Balthas. I admit it is most palatable. Oh, you're all too kind. There is plenty to improve. Then I will help you hone the formula. How about you, Magdalene? I could help if Balthasar wishes. We shall see when the new year comes. I may need some assistance. Ah, what a profitable company we could be. We intend to stay in Tassing even after the snow has melted. I'm in no rush. The bank can survive for a moment without me. My friend Balthas here may be less so. I've done very well so far, thank you. It's a season for giving, isn't it? Won't you be in trouble for delaying your return even further? Trouble. What does a tiny bit of trouble matter to Ignazio Agostini? Becoming stuck in Tassing is surely an act of God. I cannot control the weather. I'm where I am meant to be. Say, Alexander and Kismir play such delightful songs. Perhaps a dance later, We will see. Until later, gentlemen. Happy Christmas, Magdalene. Magdalene there. Merry Christmas, Magda. God bless. Merry Christmas, everyone. How are you enjoying the feast? Utterly delightful. A hearty meal, a mug of Balthas's latest brew. Everything a soul could wish for. It's everything your ample belly could wish for. I am as God made me in his infinite wisdom. Even the ancient Greeks knew the sphere to be the most important shape. I can see you're all in great mood. Impossible not to be when I look at all the families gathered here tonight. The laughter of children running around, the love that brings the community together. We are blessed. The love. It's certainly better than all the arguing. As long as you have a moment such as this to realize that we matter to each other. Well said, darling. Wife, thank you. To the four of us. Nastravi. Salute. I'm so happy I married you in this. The day I was inspired to come find you in Innsbruck was the most important day in my life. I would have been ever so lonely without you. Ah, love at long last. We know the feeling, don't we, boys loves? The path before us was filled with thorns and thistles, but we endured. Make sure to prepare for that, Magdalene. There will always be some thorns on the path. I'm already quite familiar with it, thank you. Careful, boys love. Magdalene's the sharpest thorn out of all of us. Exactly. Well, I will continue with the celebrations. Stay safe then. Make most of this night. You've earned it. Bless you, Magdalene. Enjoy the feast. God bless you. Okay, have we talked to everybody now? Can we leave? Nope. There's more to be had. We have to talk to Jorg. Hey, Magdalene, sorry to bother you during the feast. Oh, hello, Jorg. You need something? Well, all the chatter around the revolt earlier had me thinking. You're nearly done with the mural, aren't you? The last time you talked with the council, you said you were working on the final portion, painting the revolt. Don't mean to nag during the feast, though. That's Veronica's job. I should have it done soon. I've been listening to people around town talk about the revolt so I can get a better idea how to paint it. Everyone has a different idea how that night happened. But I think I finally settled on how I wanted to depict it. Yeah? I think I'll show the aftermath of the revolt and paint the ruined abbey surrounded by everyone who died and their families. I want to honor what the peasants stood for. I'll show also giving a speech and the soldiers in the distance. Paint the peasants burning the abbey in the mill. Let's defending the monks. I think we go with the aftermath. It's probably the best thing. Because it's not only Otto who died. I'll probably do what's afterward, what the price was for the whole thing. Yeah, I'll do that. Aftermath of the revolt. I don't know if that's such a good idea. The mural was meant to honor Tassin, not stir up grief. Maybe Klaus was the better... was better to pick to paint the mural after all. Anyway, I'll get out of your way. You got better things to do. I think Utz was looking for you too. I'm certain he is. Thinking I should go home for the night. I've had enough of Utz flirting and I should check in on my dad. Tell him hello from all of us, alright? I will. Good night, George. Good night, Magdalene. I mean, if it's gonna be a celebration, it's gonna look bad no matter what we pick. Oh. God bless you. Merry Christmas, Magdalene. Well, Merry Christmas, Sister Emily. Were we bothering you with the noise next door? No, not at all. Hearing people celebrating Christ's birth brings me great joy. Christmastide should be a heartening time of year for us all. I enjoy seeing everyone feeling better about the future, especially after all Tassin has endured. The people here have suffered greatly, but we must always find hope in the midst of despair. It is fitting to celebrate Christ's birth on days with so little light and warmth. People need Christmas in the depth of winter to remind them that spring will return, and we will all have a chance to live again. Magdalena, who is that? Someone who's been following me. Please excuse me, Sister Emily. I need to check on my father. Of course, God bless you. Thank you, sister. Stop blabbering and let's go. Door is open. Someone here? Dad? Can we pick up something to use as a weapon now? No? Hey, maybe? Oh, thank God. Magdalene, is that you? What's the matter? Someone was standing near the house. The door was open. I was afraid something might have happened to you. Sorry, I didn't hear anything. I've been asleep most of the day, most of the evening too. I'm worried about you, Magdalene. You're worried about me? You're working too hard. I know taking care of me takes up so much of your time. And I know how hard you've been working on the mural. I know how important it is to you. For you to work this hard, it has to be important to you. Yet it is important to me. I'm not going to make it, Magdalene. Are you a doctor now? I've known Werner Stolz long enough to know when he's going through the motions. He's never been kind, but there is a special coldness to him when he is attending to a dead man. It's alright. This is just life. I'm glad I'm going before you, even if it is sooner than either of us would like. I've already seen too much death in my time. I just want to show you what I could do. I want you to be proud of me. I have been, every day of your life. You never needed to improve anything to me. I wish I could stay to see the mural when you finish it, but I don't need to. I know it will be more beautiful than anything these old hands have ever made. Don't say that. It's true though. I mean, I got along all right. But I always knew you would be surpassed me before long. I can already see things that I never could. See things and make them real. I'm trying. You're doing it. Whether I die tonight or tomorrow or the next day, I'm not going to be here much longer. One morning you're going to wake up and you will have to do things for yourself. Love things for yourself, and you will have to share it with the world. Love is the only reason to do anything in this life. Oh, all this talking. Too much. Did you bring me something to eat? Of course, Dad. You haven't eaten all day. And I missed the Christmas feast too. I can't believe no one brought me a cookie. I'll go get some soup. Sorry, Klaus, about everything. You are here. I've been trying to keep Magdalene safe. Been trying to figure it out this whole time. After the fire, it's all I could think about. That and them. They have never left me. They're all still there, all in a dance of death. The Baron, Piero, Lucky, Martin, Peter, Otto. Oh, is this? Oh, I think this might be the painter. Mahler, Casper. What? August. And now you. Ed? Oh God, it's you. Who are you? What are you doing to my father? It's all right. It's all right. I'm sorry. I've forgotten my manners after all these years. You have likely forgotten my face of what it once was. Oh, it is. Ah, Magdalene, this is Andreas Mahler. Oh my God, what a freaking twist of a turn on this instant. Second. This is the first protagonist, the guy that we started playing as. Yeah, he lives exactly, so he didn't die in the fire. Back from the dead. The earliest memory I have is of you running into a burning library. I'm sorry. I don't understand. No one could have survived that. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. I don't understand, Andreas. Where have you been all these years? Hiding from the world. Hello, Renji. In the ruins, mostly. Sometimes in the woods, when it was warm. Stealing bread from Gret. Stealing books from you. Oh, so I wasn't going crazy. The only thing that's kept my mind from forgetting what words are. Wait, how did you survive the fire? With some difficulty. I grabbed as many books as I could and threw them into the scriptorium. When the smoke got too thick, I started to black out. The next thing I remember was Casper pulling me into the crypt. Your apprentice, the boy? Sent him back to Salzburg. He didn't leave. Oh yeah, we forgot to... Yeah, we failed that one check to get him to leave to Salzburg. So that was a good thing we didn't... okay. He waited in the woods and watched what was happening. When he saw me in the window of the library, he ran through the crypt to save me. And he did. But he saw that I was trying to save the books and... oh no, so he went in and died instead. Oh crap. He went back in. I couldn't stop him. I was barely conscious. He never came back out, Klaus. When I woke up, everyone was dead or gone. I couldn't face any of you. I couldn't go back to Sabine, that empty house. Oh damn, so he died. Oh crap. Go ahead. Why have you been following me? I thought you were trying to kill me. What happened at the mine was an accident. I just stepped too close to the edge. I'm sorry. I was afraid to talk to you, afraid to talk to anyone. Did you leave us those notes, the one with the purple writing? Ah. Nope, those were written by a different occult hand. One that does not want you to finish your mural. One that has killed and may kill again to stop you from telling Tassing's history. Tassing's history? Why? Because Tassin's real history is at odds with the story we have all been told. It's been covered bit by bit, layer by layer, until it could no longer be seen. But it's still there, here. It's always been here, hidden beneath our feet. And it's still protected, haunted by the specter of death that has hung over this place for generations. The thread puller. Thread puller beneath our feet? What are you talking about? The person who attacked your father is the same person who manipulated someone into killing Otto Zimmerman and Lawrence Rothwagel. Yes, and they traveled through the Roman aqueduct that connects Tassing and Kidsa. It's a network of tunnels I've become quite familiar with. I've seen the ghost that haunts them, that can squeeze through the tiniest opening. I've seen it bend itself in half to reach places I could never follow. I've traveled along every inch of the aqueduct in the old city, but there is one place I have never found. The lair where the thread puller retreats to, the ancient Roman temple that it is determined to hide from view. The Mithraeum. Found it? No, but I've mapped out the darkness between the collapsed tunnels. And I believe I know how to get there. Come with me, I'll show you. Now? If the thread puller becomes aware of what we're doing, well, I don't know what they will do. We need to act quickly. Will you be alright? Yes, I'll be fine. Protect my daughter, Andreas. With my life close, I promise. Alright, let's find Mithraeum. Okay. Rat house, what are we doing here? When the men dug the foundation, they found Roman ruins that had been buried over time. The wooden waste stones that they used the Roman wall as one of the cells. That's okay, Tiki. He's gonna die anyway of his head injury, so he guess it will starve him to death then. Right? They wouldn't waste stones, so they used the Roman wall as one of the cellars. There's a way inside. To the hidden place. You're right. Yes. Alright, into the rat skeller. Well, you can go and pick up the food from the floor, right? Alright, the wall is different. Does that mean this is the place? No, it's two-sided, new and old. This was above ground once. It carried water. Look. Alright, I think I can make it out. Cornelius goes to the bath today and completes the 6th step in the Mithraeum. Yes, you see. No, I most sadly do not see Andreas. All here. Warning would be nice. Oh, sorry. I'm not used to being around people. This is the aqueduct. The aqueduct carries water to the bath, so you think this will take us to the Mithraeum. Exactly. You seem quite confident. We know it exists. I know where it is not. I believe this is the only place it could be. It must be near the baths. You believe it? Yes. Alright. There. After you, please. Okay. mean, feels like we must be close to the end now. This part of the tunnel is collapsed. We're not getting to the meteor this way, I think. Yes, Casper now found a collapsed section of the aqueduct near town. We didn't find out what was on the other side. I wouldn't let him explore it. Could have taken more care with him. But yes, we can't do anything about that now. Yes, of course. Decoration. This must have been the baths. Doesn't look like there's a way through. Tilt. All the floods kept carrying it down here. Hundreds of years of floods. What if we can't get through? What if this is buried forever? Too early to get this discouraged. Let's keep looking. Okay, so there's a way down there. Okay. Let's see what's over here first. Nothing. Okay. More stairs down. Something below the baths. Hypercast. They use warm air to heat the rooms above. Roman colonies in the north often had them. Let's hope those haven't filled with silt as well. Do you know where we're going? This pillar just kind of go on in all directions. Andreas, could you look that way? I think I'm going to try exploring ahead. Of course. Oh, we are. Oh. You playing Andreas now. How could you abandon your work, Andreas? I thought you were a true artist, a master of your craft, but all you created was misery. Did you even believe I was the one who did it? Or could you just stomach my death more easily? Okay, that's lucky. You couldn't leave a good thing well enough alone, could you? How many bodies have you left in your wake? Martin? Casper? Master, why did you send me back into the flames? This is just annoying with the flickering. No, this isn't right. What the heck? Can't be here right now. How did I get here? Andreas. You're still here. Yes, for a little longer. You're leaving? I'm the last vestige of reason that once ruled this court. When it goes, I will go with it. But who will rule the city if you leave? No one. You must leave this place forever, Andreas. You must abandon it for good. But how? What can I do? I don't even know how I got here. It was once a place of refuge for you, Andreas. But it has become a prison you constructed to protect yourself. From what? From pain, from risk, from life itself. But I can't stay here, I have to help Magdalene. How do I get out? Yes, you are the architect. I will help you as best as I can, but you are the only one who can answer that. Where the heck do we need to go in the end? Hello, Andreas. Is that you, Sabine? Yes, of course. I'm still here. Part of me will always be here with you. We haven't talked in so long. Why? Everything fell apart. But, that doesn't mean we couldn't have put it back together. Back together with a great big hole in the middle. It wouldn't have been the first. I wish you had given us another chance. Too late. It may be too late for us, but it's not too late for you, Andreas. Not too late for Magdalene. Yes, Magdalene. I have to help her. You can, Andreas, but you have to leave this place behind for good. I know, I can. I will. You will. Thank you, Sabine. Will I ever see you again? Not in this place. But maybe someday in a better place. In a better dream. Can you talk to our father next door? Casper. Master Andreas. Oh, Casper. Really you. So good to see you again, Master. How can you say that? You died because of me. I just want to help you, Master Andreas. You couldn't think straight. You shouldn't blame yourself anymore. What should I do? Back to life, I think. I wish I knew how. Help Magdalene, Master. She will help you. Alright, Casper. Thank you. Thank you for everything you taught me. Wait, what happened? This was the way out. Before I started talking to Casper, I know this was the way out. The mind is fighting itself, Andreas. It remembers the pain of life. It's trying to protect you from it. Beatrice? Yes? I thought you were gone. You brought me back. Oh. So what do I do now? Keep going. We have to go all the way to the other side now. Oops. Oops. August. You too? Been so many nights, so many years without seeing your face. What, I had forgotten it. I knew you were still there though. Quietly waiting for me. Can't change the past, can't cover it up. It's always there under the surface no matter how I try to bury it. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. It's alright. What? It's all right, Daddy. It is? You don't have to hide here anymore. I'm scared, August. I know. But that's why you can't stay. There are people who need you. But if I can't help, it's so hard to let you go. No, Daddy. You have to. You're right. Thank you. I love you, Daddy. I love you too. Good night, August. Good night. I shifted again the walls. He's still trying to protect you. No. It's not? No, I mean, no, I don't have to do this. This is my mind, my maze. I'm leaving. Good. But the next part might be confusing. What? I don't understand. I don't understand any of this. Why are you holding the mace? Two things emerging in your mind. You and... There are layers to everything, even our memories. Over time, the foundations become buried. You can no longer recall how we got here, no longer recall what came before. And what came before? Our Lady watching over the labyrinth as I watch over you. Even this has roots that reach deep into the past. There was not always a lady to watch over the labyrinth, but there was a labyrinth. What? I don't understand. Sister Anil? Mali? Is this real? Am I still in my mind? You're here with me. We are here in spirit. Are we still in the ruins? We are in the tabernacle, heart of the labyrinth. Your spirit was wandering and the Lord brought you here. But I don't understand. How do you leave your cell? I have not. We're only here in spirit, Andreas. Is this real? Am I finally experiencing that which I have only read about in the testimony of mystics? I told you long ago that reading cannot communicate a spiritual experience. But yes, this is real, and you need not to be afraid. Have faith. If you are here with me, it is the Lord's will. Yes? Sister Emily? What are you doing here, sister? This is the center of the labyrinth, the tabernacle. It is where the Lord sends my spirit to do His will. He has also guided your spirits here. There must be a purpose to it. Sister, we're looking for the Mitrium. Is this it? Mitrium? No. This is the tabernacle. Not a place of wood and stone, but a place of spirit. The Lord has called me to this place for many years. He has always made His will known to me. Soon He will make it known to you. Sister, how does your spirit come to this place? Through the door between life and death. When my spirit hears the call, it descends through my grave. Here, the Lord tells me what messages I must bear, to whom. You deliver messages? Yes, once long ago, I was a scribe. I copied many works of the great church doctors, Origen in particular. But that all ended with the fire. It ended with my life. Wait. I thought I had given up the pen forever until the visions returned. Like this font is such a pain in the butt to read sometimes. No! When fire took my abbey, I couldn't save my sisters. Not one. All I could grab was a single book and a bolt of cloth. I couldn't understand why God had spared me alone. But he showed me. God had a higher purpose for me, for my hand. Father Thomas explained it to me. He makes everything clear. He tells me what I must do, what the Lord wills me to do. It was you, this whole time, you wrote the notes. I found one by my dad when he was attacked. Uh-oh. This Sister Amelia. You pushed those people into committing murder. What? No. That can't be true. The Lord will not use me for such a purpose. But that's what happened, sister. You wrote those notes. And people were murdered because of them. No, I wouldn't. He wouldn't. There was nothing in his message about murder. It's Father Thomas, I think, because he's being... he left also the celebration, and he's been... I think it's Father Thomas who is the real culprit in this whole thing. No, I'm not here. This can't be happening. This can't be happening. Ah! Yeah. Here comes the real culprit, I think. Sister Amelie. Shh, it's all right. Or Thomas, how did you get down here? Passing is an old place. It's buried many ancient roads and tunnels over the centuries. People walk above the hidden ways every day without even knowing it. Though in truth, it was Sister Emily who rediscovered them first and found this place. Farmer Thomas, did you? In other circumstances, I would be overjoyed to see you, Andreas. In truth, I'm still happy you're alive. Thank God. But I think the occasion of this reunion leaves little to rejoice about. You and Sister Emily were behind all of the murders. No, he had no part in this. But the notes, she wrote them. She did, but she did not understand their purpose. I guided her. I told her what to write. You abused her love and her trust for your own purposes. He who wishes to follow love's way must regard neither cost nor shame. Nor pain, he must stand to everything, even her most terrible commands. I am ashamed to admit it, but yes, I did. To what end? What was the point of all of this? Look around you. What do you see? Roman ruins. Look closer. Looks like the statue of Saint Moritz from the Meadow. And the image of Saint Sasha from the shrine. I don't understand. It's Saint Moritz and Saint Sasha and Mars and Diana. Saints are the gods. When the Romans left casting their buildings, their temples, their statues remained. Christians settled here centuries later. They found time-worn fragments of that imperial grasp. This statue of Mars Pater that once watched over the Roman field stood here still, headless and nameless. These settlers... What? They settlers? Hello, that shouldn't be they. The settlers believed it was Saint Moritz. It was already a legend where they had come from. They found the shrines of Sasha and, not understanding she was an aspect of Diana, believed she was another local saint. So the people turned them into saints. Sanctity and sainthood exist outside of what people believe, Magdalena. People cannot turn someone into a saint any more than they can make the divinity of Christ. But they knew of saints and learned local legends of the region and applied them to the figures they found here. No one knew they were Roman gods because there was no account of what the Romans did and left here, except for Historia Tassia. But Historia Tassia was not known then. Perhaps it had not even been written then. Who knows how long that book had been lost before it made its way to Father Matthias. And you killed him for it. Yes, poison. No one suspected. He died of poison and no one suspected? Must have been quite subtle. His death was unexpected, but I was the only person he confided in about what he had read in Historia Cassia. When Father Matthias learned that there was no evidence that Saint Maurice had ever come to Tasney, that the shrine to him in the meadow was a statue of Mars that the Romans had erected hundreds of years ago, that Saint Sasha was the Roman goddess Diana, he resolved to deal with it. You resolved to deal with him. Andreas, our people believe in Saint Moritz. We believe in the miracles that has worked through his hand. And they believe in the legend of Saint Sasha, that she helped Moritz and watches over Tassing still. What does it matter if they were wrong if the saints weren't here? That was... with that. Then what does that mean for the hand of Saint Moritz? What does it mean for the people who prayed to him, to Saint Sasha, and believed their prayers were answered? What does it mean for the church that has given people hope, fixed like a false star in dark sky? If the people had reason to doubt the validity of the saints, can they doubt the church? Can they doubt the gospel, the word of God? People must have suspected something odd over the years, Father. Suspicion is not proof, especially when no one really wants to know the truth. People have faith in spite of doubt. That is why I have worked to preserve the legends of our saints. You are preserving a lie. I preserved a lie to illuminate greater truth. God so loved the world that he gave his only son. If you believe this, if you truly believe this, eternal life is yours. And saints have walked among us, and their relics work miracles, and they hear our prayers and answer them. And the two that protect this town were never here. You don't need to know that, Andreas. There are times when God feels so far away from us in these mountains. But a peasant in Tassing can stand in a field, look over the valley and say, Saint Moritz was here. God was with us and he is with us still, and he will be with us always. And that is the truth. Even the legend of Saint Moritz is a lie. So many people have died because of what you have done. I know this is hard to believe, but I was trying to save lives, to prevent death. But one murder didn't solve the problem, did it? Because one day Baron Rothwager rode into town with another copy of Historia Tassia. And a copy he promised to give the abbot so Kirsa could come to terms with its past. And if Father Gernot read its content, you'll be facing the same danger you saw in Father Matthias. In retrospect, given how Father Gernot chose to run the abbey, my fears may have been unfounded. That sentiment didn't prevent you from doing it again. You're right, it didn't. But then why Otto? Suddenly he didn't have anything to do with Historia Tassia. He couldn't even read. In the end, his murder provoked Peter and the others into destroying the abbey. I never thought that would happen. I underestimated Peter's anger and the peasants' frustration. You seem to... So you killed him to prevent an uprising, but he caused it instead. Someone else killed him, as someone else killed Baron Rothwagel. And it wasn't to prevent an uprising, but to stop him from showing people what he found. What he found when he was helping to dig the foundations of the rat house. Something from our pagan ancestors? No, not quite so old. What he found was a stone head. The missing head of the statue in the meadow, the statue of the shrine of Saint Moritz. How did it wind up over there? The most likely culprits are rain, floods, and time. Black Till told me that the farmers find old tools and pottery in the fields every year. Yes, and this head remained hidden for centuries. It sat in the soil until Otto found it. And he was going to show everyone that God had favored the town with his discovery. What Otto could not know is that our shrine statue was not of Saint Moritz. Because Otto could not read the words chiseled across the helmet, Mars Pater. But the man he entrusted with this information, the town priest, could. Yes. You told him to meet you on St. John's Eve at the rat house. I could not let him destroy our town's beliefs. You had poor sister Emily write down what you told her visions he couldn't remember, and deliver them in the dead of night to Guy, to Hannah, to Martin, so that one of them would murder Otto just as someone murdered Lawrence. What about my father? I'm so sorry, Magdalene. Why do you do it? It doesn't make any sense. Was it because of the mirror? Yes. Claus pursued the project with the determination of a guilty man doing penance. He kept digging and digging for answers about Tassin's past. Kersel's past. I was afraid that sooner or later he would find out about Moritz, Stacia, his place, everything. So you tried to kill him. No, I tried to scare him. First with the note, but he ignored it. I thought if I ransacked the workshop it would scare him off. I didn't expect him to come down so quickly. It was just an accident. It wasn't an accident, you almost killed him. I know. So what are you going to do now? Kill me? Kill Magdalena? No, of course not. I have neither the means nor the will to do so. But even if I can't stop you from telling people what I have done, I can stop them from finding this place. No, Father Thomas, stop! It's too late for me, but I can still take passing secrets with me. Oh, you're going to kill us all. You're going to kill Emily. Then leave and take her with you. You can tell the townsfolk what you want, but if you stay here, we will die together. Can't stop people from learning the truth. Maybe, but I have to try. Father! Go! Well, well, that was a twist, turn and a half and all. Are you alright? I think so. You? In truth? No, but I survived. So did she. You must have heard that at the Golden Hand. Entire church collapsing? I would hope so. What are we going to tell them? What do you mean? About this? About everything? Why wouldn't we just tell them the truth? For the same reason Father Thomas hid it. So we reward what he did, all the people he has hurt? Is it better to punish the people of Tassing? What good would it do to tell everyone about St. Moritz and St. Sasha? Maybe Father Thomas was right about that, if nothing else. Maybe it would break their fate. I think we're gonna go with, we're going hard with the truth here. We will see how it ends. It might go badly though, but I think he's wrong. I think the people here have enough faith to hear the truth. You know them better than I do, especially since I've been away for so long. We came back after all this time to solve this, but it's hard to feel like we actually accomplished anything. Are we any better off than we were this morning? Or Thomas won't be able to hurt anyone else? Maybe he never would have. I think you're right, we should tell them. About the Saints, the Romans, all of it. I hate that doing the right thing feels so awful. I'm sorry. I am too, but I still think it's what we need to do. Then we will tell them. Good. We get Sister Emily someplace warm. We can take her to my house. You will probably have some explaining to do. A lot, I think. Been a long time coming. I'm glad you didn't die in that fire. I am too. I think. We should. That feels so bad to say now. We should head back. Either way, can't say Merry Christmas in these. Oh. Magdalene, you made it back. Andreas and Sister Emily and I all made it back. Sister Emily? Was she in the church? I heard a terrible din and the house shook. Is everything alright? I don't think so, Dad, but it will be. Are you alright, Dad? Yes. I'm sorry. Just tired. Sit by me. Tell me what happened. It started in the rat house. Well, the rat skeller. Did you know the back wall was part of the old Roman aqueduct? Huh? So we went into the aqueduct. The section we found must have been closed off for centuries. We found an old Roman bathhouse. We couldn't go through, so we found our way down to a level under the baths. I think Andrea said it was a Hypocaust. I got separated from Andreas. I was really afraid I had lost him, that we both got lost down there. But then I heard his voice off in the distance. I was so relieved. Uh-oh. Dad? Uh-oh. Are you still listening? Rest in peace, Claus. Are we gonna get some conclusion to this now then, or? Okay, now we are going through the months, okay. Yeah, it's interesting to see how this ends now, because this must be a conclusion to this. I know it's hard. I mean, I can only imagine how hard it is. But we will do our best to make you feel welcome when you get there. It's strange to think this will probably be the last letter I send to you. I will end it with my love. Esther. Ignacio. Magdalena? Okay. Well, now I'm too curious to see. Yes. I'm so sorry to disturb you, but I want to let you know that everything is in order. Baltas has ensured that all of the financial matters will be handled. Money will be forwarded to you via the rice post as soon as everything is settled. I appreciate it. Please thank him for me. Thank him for everything. Of course, Mr. Druckerin. Do not know your father well, but I know that he was well regarded by everyone who spoke of him. It seems that passing has lost many things in one man. Very sorry. Thank you. Good fortune to you. Okay, so she's leaving then, it seems like. Are you sure you have everything you need, Magdalena? I think so, thank you. I made you something to take with you on the road. It's chamomile, cinnamon, and wheat flour. If you're traveling and you're having cramps, I know, I'll use it. Well, Hildegard's recipe has called for chamomile and wheat flour. I added cinnamon for taste. I'm so sorry about what happened to your father. Thank you. Mother Francisca had us all say prayers for him. And for you as well, when she heard you were leaving. Really? That's so sweet. Please thank her for me. I will. Well, we will all miss you so much, Magdalene. I miss you too. God bless you. Safe travels. Magdalena, I can't believe you're really leaving. I will miss you all dearly. The boys will miss you even more. Yours at least. Oh, don't tease him. I think he's really having a hard time of it, despite appearances. Go easy on him. That's kind of you. I appreciate it. Safe travels and God bless you. Hey Max. That's really sorry about your dad. It was always nice to me. My mom says He was. My mom says was a good man, and sometimes his sentences, man. He was a good dad. Well, thanks. I should get going. Thanks. Magdalena, you sure you don't want to marry me? It is a tempting offer. But no. I have to go. Look after your mother, rats. Good morning, Mrs. Propria. Are you off soon? Yes, father. Just saying my last few farewells. Of course, I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to know you or your father. God rest his soul. I am too. Don't let those bohemians put any heretical ideas in your head. Once the pernicious seeds take root, they can take the faith right out of you. Keep my guard up, father. Good, good. Keep the faith. God bless you, Father Elias. God bless you in your travels. God bless you as well, Sister Amelia. Are you leaving today? I am. I'm just heading up to the mill in a bit. I'm so sorry for everything that happened. I know. It's all right now. Thank you for helping me. Do you know what you would do now? Will you become an anchoress again? I don't know, honestly. Father Elias is trying to help me, but I need to learn to rely on my own judgment a little bit more. It's going to take a long time to atone for my part in what happened. Perhaps the rest of my life. We were tricked. We all were. Even so, I must make amends. I'm writing on an account of what happened here, as well as I can remember it in a way. If it is not enough to earn forgiveness, I pray that it will at least illuminate this history of great darkness. Good, it's worth remembering. God bless you, Sister Emily. God bless you and keep you safe on your travels, Magdalene. Well, come on. Magdalene dear, I wish you would stay with us. Till Andreas and Ulrich will miss you greatly. I'll miss them also. Passing is not the place for me. It's past time to leave. You will find your happiness out there yet, somewhere beyond the hills and valleys. I know it in my heart. God looks after you as he does for us all. This game is a lot of talking. That is the major point with this game. It's a lot of going through. That is my hope. Well, the bot didn't talk to you, he just gave you points instead. Hope is what drives us forward. Maybe one day you will come to visit us again. With your own family in tow. If that is the case, I'll make sure to send you a letter ahead of time. Of course, do write. I sometimes still think of all the lives and places out there. When I was younger, I often dreamed of traveling, visiting the many kingdoms. But I found my peace here and now, in passing, even after all that happened. With the revolt? Yes, and Lenhart. It was a frightening time, not only to me, but to Paul and to Anna. Probably what brought them together in the end, a miracle. My little darlings, without them, I would never have little Andreas and Ulrich. I'm rambling. Stay safe on the road, Magdalene. There, you're still in dangerous times. I will. Godspeed, Magdalene. Are you sure I look alright? Oh, Andreas is coming with us. Of course, Andreas, you look perfectly respectable. You're a little worse for wear, but a good sight better than you were. It's kind of the women to help clean me up. I'm afraid I had forgotten how to look after myself. Some would say you took care of yourself quite admirably. How many men here could have survived in a burned-out cellar for the better part of 20 years? Subsiding on our discarded rye, no less. I'm sorry about that. Andreas, we already told you it's alright now. Magdalene. Hello, Magdalene. Are you off soon? Hello. Yes, I'm riding with your flower to Mittenwald and then down to Isar. I'm sorry to see you go, Magdalene. But I hope Prague is everything you have dreamed of. It is half the city as it describes. I'm sure I love it. You have a chance to make a life of your own there. God knows I have squandered so much of mine. Use the time you have and use it well. I will. I don't know how, but I will. I wish you could have seen it, Andreas. I know. You would have loved it. I hope so. Magdalene, if angels carried him down to be a witness, the heavenly host would have wept at it. That's kind of you to say. We all need words of encouragement, and besides, it's the truth. Magdalene, I wanted to ask you something about the mural before you go. I thought it was supposed to cover the whole wall. Why did you leave a section blank? For the future. Unless history is going to stop in passing the moment I roll down the road. I think your wagon is about to leave. Oh, it is. It hardly feels like enough time. Thank you for everything you did for me and for my family. God bless you, Andreas Mahler. Andreas? Are you alright? I'm lost. Alright. You're welcome to stay with us for as long as you need. Besides, you can't leave yet. The children require your expertise. Oh? They are up on the mill, the walkway. I'll have supper ready when you're done. Just remember that you're always welcome in our home, Andreas. Thank you. The drawing. Is that the end of it? I just couldn't stop playing now because I wanted to see if this was towards the end or not. Did we get to see the mural? Okay, care of the wounded wolf. There is the water. There is the name of the place, Tassie. The art in the game, I like it. That's a mural part of after the abbey got destroyed. Yeah, it has a great atmosphere, great story. But this is one of those games that has a lot to read and a lot to, you know, conversations and stuff. So it won't be for. They will scare a lot of people away from it, I think. I mean, you can. There is a setting so they read up the text for you, but it's, you know, it's the Microsoft's built into Windows style talking. I can't.
Das küsste mich auf Deutsch und sprach auf Deutsch. Man glaubt, es kam wie gut es klang. Das Wort
Geheiratet means married, I think, if I remember it correctly. Oh, damn, they got a big family. St. Moritz, Jasmin. Ah, they did paint that one from what they found down there. Interesting.